Hello and welcome back to A Shot of Wildlife. Today I'm at Cley Reserve on the Norfolk Coast and I'm joined by JP.
Hey!
Hey!
Happy days.
We're going to have a walk around, see what birds we can find, see what insects we can find, and hopefully we'll see some other stuff as well.
Yeah, hopefully it won't rain.
Oh,
Like it always does.
It normally does. Come on, let's get looking around. If you've seen any of the times that me and JP have met for a wildlife adventure in the past, you'll know that we usually get caught with the bad weather. Either 33 degrees of sunshine and no shade, or torrential wind and rain with no shelter. This time is going to be different, I hope. There are 5 hides at Cley, and our day started at Teal Hide, one of a cluster of 3 that are known as the Central Hides. The first birds that I noticed were these young shelducks. Shelducks are quite unusual in that they'll often take over rabbit burrows and nest underground before bringing their ducklings to water once they hatch. They're precocial, meaning that once they leave the nest they're able to feed themselves straight away, but mum still plays an important role in trying to keep them warm and out of danger. A passing marsh harrier would happily take a duckling or 2. There were lots of common birds here too, including this beautiful black-headed gull. They're well known for scavenging around towns and cities, but this one was hunting for natural food, probably small fish and aquatic invertebrates. Nearby, a young lapwing was also hunting, pausing, scanning the area, and then stepping to pick off insects from the water's surface. In the distance, a little egret didn't seem to be in a hurry to do very much, and on one of the islands in front of this first hide was the rarest bird so far, a young spoonbill. I've seen at least one every time I've been to Cley in the last 5 years. It's one of the best sights for them in the whole of the UK. And although it soon took to the air and headed away, it won't be long until I show you some more of them. That's a guarantee. We moved on to the second hide. Here, the birds were inside as well as out. Several pairs of swallows were raising their chicks up in the rafters, although only one of them was kind enough to hang around so I could film it. I guaranteed it wouldn't be long until I showed you some more spoonbills, and there's a good reason. Not only was there a beautiful adult here showing off its white head plumes, nearby were 2 of its well-grown chicks. Spoonbill chicks are known as teaspoons, but I'm not sure what age is the cut-off for this, so let's call these ones tablespoons. Anytime the adult bird went close to them, the tablespoons would start following it around and begging for food. Sometimes the adult would oblige. This is the first time that I've ever seen this behaviour, and to top it off, after feeding was done, the adult posed quite close in and had a wash. What a fantastic thing to see. Alongside me and JP, there was a family in this hide who had come to Cley specifically in the hope of seeing a marsh harrier. This juvenile didn't disappoint them, giving long, albeit distant views as it soared over the lagoons in front of us all. Also in the distance was Europe's largest wading bird, a Eurasian curlew. To be here at Cley at this time of year probably means that this one hasn't been successful in breeding, which is often the case for curlews. Only 13% of their nesting attempts in the UK result in fledged young. Most of the time, their eggs are eaten by predators before they can hatch. Whilst I was filming these courting wood pigeons, which I am quite fond of despite their commonness, JP pointed out this juvenile little ringed plover who was sharing the scrape with them. This species was first recorded nesting in the UK in 1938, and they've gradually spread over the country since then. There are now around 1,250 breeding pairs in the UK every spring. The last bird I want to show you from this hide was a very distant great white egret. JP argues that they are just called great egrets, so after you finish watching this, feel free to pop over to his channel and let him know how wrong he is. We moved on to the third and final of the 3 central hides. The water levels here were really low, and whilst it is a beautiful view with the blue sky reflecting off the water surface among the lush green vegetation, there wasn't too much to show you in the way of wildlife. This little egret was making the most of the exposed mud and the shallow water. They are opportunistic predators and will eat anything that they can catch and swallow. Here, it's probably looking for small fish, crustaceans and invertebrates. The exposed mud had also attracted a couple of small brown birds. I believe that these are twite, and if that's correct, then this is the first time that I've ever knowingly seen them, and definitely the first time that I've filmed them. There is also a chance that these are linnets, but they don't look quite right to me. If you're watching this and you can identify them for sure, please let me know in the comments. So apparently a Caspian tern has just been seen on the scrape in front of this hide. So heading back there now. Let's see if it's still here. Sure enough, the report was correct and there was a Caspian tern in front of the hide, although it was quite far away. It had been seen around the reserve off and on for a few days before our visit, and I'd hoped to catch up with it at some point. This is the largest species of tern in the world, with a wingspan of more than 4 feet. They don't breed in the UK, and only a handful turn up every year. We moved on from the central hides, heading in a clockwise loop around the reserve. The breeze had picked up a bit, but there were still a few butterflies on show, including this gatekeeper and this beautiful wool brown. We carried on along a raised flood bank, where JP blatantly tried to destroy my GoPro before we spotted a cattle egret, who was conveniently hunting next to some cattle. These used to be rare migrants from continental Europe, but since 2008 they've been nesting in the UK and their numbers continue to grow. The flood bank gradually gave way to a shingle beach, and although we didn't see any wildlife here, there wasn't a moment of silence. It's always great to catch up with JP. He knows a lot about nature, but is also brilliant to chat to about life in general. One thing I would say though, is unless you have a strong stomach, don't trust him to bring the snacks. You'll have to watch his video from that day to see what I mean. After almost a mile, our path headed back inland, where we stopped in at Richardson's lookout. Well, it's been a windy old time, but we're finally back to some sort of civilization. Typically, this hide usually has lots of water in front of it, but it's almost bone dry, and that means that any birds are miles away. I'm sure this old camera can film them, but it's not going to be the best footage. The birds were very far away, which means whilst I was filming these two cormorants, I didn't notice the curlew behind them. There were plenty of gulls here too, mostly black-headed and herring gulls, and in among them were several black-tailed godwits. Even with my camera, which has a very powerful zoom, most of the birds were too far away to film among the haze from the heat. As we moved further inland, another member of the heron family made an appearance. This is a grey heron. It's a most common and long-standing species and is widespread across the whole of the UK. Standing at around 1 metre tall, this one had no trouble in showing a little egret who's boss. They often live quite happily alongside one another and will sometimes even nest in mixed species colonies. A short walk from here and we'd almost completed the loop with just one hide remaining. So we've made it to the last hide of the day. This is Bishop's Hide. JP, have you had a good day?
Brilliant, mate. We always have a laugh, don't we? Even if we don't see much. But we have seen quite a lot today, haven't we?
We have seen quite a lot. And there's obviously all these birds out here, which I'm going to show you all before ending the video. So let's take a look. I'm amazed that I've made it this far around the reserve without showing you an avocet or two. These are a real conservation success story here in the UK. They went extinct as a breeding bird in the 1800s, but recolonised in 1947. Partly thanks to the wetland habitats that were created during World War II to stop a potential Nazi invasion. Out on the water were a couple of shell ducks. These ones didn't have any ducklings with them and were busy sifting food from just below the water's surface. Alongside some other species of duck, shell ducks have a special adaptation in their bills called lamellae, which acts as a filter and helps them to sift out small particles from within the water column. And just as we were about to leave, a marsh harrier put on a bit of a show. They seem to glide so effortlessly above the marshes, a truly wonderful thing to see. Okay, and that is sadly where this video has to come to an end. If you'd like to take a look at JP's video from today and his other videos from around the UK and beyond, I will put a link for his channel down below. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more wildlife, then check out this video that's on the screen now. Cheers, JP.
Thanks,
See you next time.
Adios.